In the words of Kumujan, Kiola Maka'inana Lake, this only it calls forth the infinite, uncountable manifestations of God in the Hawaiian universe. Eulu, we call forth our kupuna. E ulu, kinio ke akua. Ulu kane me kanaloa. Ulu oi alau koa me ka ie. He mai anoho I kōku ahu. Ia ka waila, he vai e ola no e. Yola.
Amen. Wow. Aloha, this is Taisei from Taisei Discovers. Today, we are interviewing a cultural practitioner, Elijah McShane. I've been watching this man's trajectory for a couple of years now, and I've seen him go through a couple of different seasons. The season that he's in right now, I feel like he's bridging the gap between being a speaker for Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian people, but also he's able to package it up and share it with the world in a way that I haven't seen many. I feel like I'm honored to be in his presence. I asked him to be on a little while ago, and he obliged willingly, and he is here now in the flesh. We are going to talk about everything that the universe wants us to. Elijah McShane, welcome to Taisei Discovers.
Oh, good to be here with you, Mabara. Ano ai me kia aloha, peace and love, aloha kako. Just a beautiful honor to be here and to share. But mahalo for having me, bro.
Absolutely, man. Your presence on social media has exploded in, it seems like, the last year or two. I love watching your videos. You're super articulate. The points that you make and the views that you have, just your position really is one of, I would say, global inclusion. It's not specifically Hawaiiana that you preach. You talk about being a good human and supporting cultures all over the world. It's very special to me. So I just want to start off with asking you, how are you feeling today?
Oh, my kai no kiola nei. Life is good. I'm super thankful for ohana. I'm super thankful for the kuleana. I'm super thankful to see how our people are rising. The consciousness of all of humanity is awakening. And the hearts of humans are becoming more and more open, as at the same time in different parts of the world and because of different spheres of work and industry, maybe the heart is getting a little bit hardened. So, keeping the balance. And so overall, I live a great, fulfilled life and proud to be Hawaiian.
Wow. So what is your role in awakening humanity?
So in our work, in our organization, Awaken the Aloha. So we started Awaken the Aloha. This was 2020, just like right before COVID. And the spirit of Awaken the Aloha and our mission is to inspire a world where the spirit of aloha is the heartbeat of humanity through reconnecting people to their culture and to their kupuna. And so the role I feel I play is the role that Akua needs me in. And I say that because I play plenty roles and wear a lot of hats in different matters. And so like, people ask me, of all the things that I do, what's my favorite thing to do in my life and on how I'm living my life. And hey, the favorite thing I do is the thing that I'm doing now, like being super present, staying away from distractions. If I'm spending time with my son, like being with my boy, if I'm spending time with any other person, being with them, and I feel that experience of being present, having aloha, which, as like stated earlier, that main word, inclusivity. I think inclusivity is one of the adjectives that is not always spoken about when we're talking about aloha. that the essence of aloha is non-exclusive. The essence of aloha is fully inclusive. It's the tutu who brings everybody into the house to feed them, no matter who you are. Yeah, to malama. And so the role that I play, I think, is to live, give, be aloha, be fully present, and whatever the kuleana is to fulfill that, mabara. And that's it, cuz.
I love your energy, man. So just tell me this. Why did you agree to being on Taisei Discovers?
Oh, brother, there are a handful of podcasts happening in Hawaii.
Yes, sir.
Not many has the best clear picture and visual as your guys. I was like, these bugger, you getting them down, these local brothers.
Thank you, Kenji.
Yes. And because you have been speaking about things and topics that expand a wide array of expertise, because as you and as Kenji and as myself, I believe all the guests that you bring on are students of life. And in one way or the other are philosophers. So we're thinkers.
Yes, sir.
And so the consistency of seeing that on all your podcast episodes and the reels, I was like, he's interviewing thinkers, people who can think out of the box, people that are innovative, and people that ultimately are people of leadership. Because you cannot be in leadership if you're not creative, if you're not innovative, if you're not progressive. And so, I just want to congratulate you guys on starting a good podcast and making good shit happen.
Yes, sir. Well, I would have to agree with you on that. And, humility is a big factor in what we do here at Taisei Discovers. We're not fighting to be number one. We're not fighting to be the best or to make millions of dollars. That would be nice. But that's not in due time. I mean, it's really not the focus. The focus is extracting the mana and the energy of these people that understand their purpose. And that's why I feel I was so drawn to you, man. Every single thing that you post, it draws me in and it captivates me. And I thought, man, it would be such a blessing to be able to sit down in the same room as you and chop it up.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Doi itashimashite. One of the few Japanese words I know.
I love it.
So I did want to ask you, so Elijah is a powerful Hebrew name from the Old Testament. And if correct me if I'm wrong, it has something to do with Yahweh is my God. So who named you that and why?
Yeah, so the Hebrew pronunciation is Eliyahu.
Beautiful.
But English phonics, Elijah. Jah is there though. The Jah is there.
Okay.
So at birth, our tutu wahine, miss my grandma. She passed away when I was about 4 years old. And my grandma La, Abby. And she was considered, especially in the Kaneohe community, as kind of a saint of the community. Everybody knew my grandma. She worked at First Hawaiian Bank, had 6 kids, raised all of them well, put all of them in private school, her and my papa. And she was the spiritual the keeper in our ohana. She was Catholic her whole life, but she was a student of truth and a student of the Messiah. And her favorite character in the Bible was Elisha. For a few reasons. When we think of Elijah, we think of the time. There's a couple things that come to mind oftentimes. One of them is that there's only 2 men that went into heaven alive, and that was Enoch and Elisha. Yeah. And there's only 2 men who actually came and presented themselves to speak to the Messiah just a few days before his crucifixion. And the 2 of those was the prophet Moses and Elisha. Yeah. But one of the things that is oftentimes spoken about the history and the story of Elijah is he was the only person in that time of King Ahab and Jezebel that didn't turn his back on Akua. Yeah, everybody went to the other gods. Everybody went all kind of different directions because of the influence of Jezebel on Israel, but not Elijah. And he was persecuted for that. He ran away, but he maintained his conviction of the connection to Akua. And he put the high priest to the test and told the high priest what? Baras, I'm going to beat you guys and show you guys that my Akua is the one, Hawaii. So bring the offering and we're going to see who can pray most to your gods and see who can light this offering on fire. And Elijah, he's waiting for days. He told them, go. He told them, go, try him. These guys, they was praying, 100 priests praying. Nothing happened. But Elijah, he called to Akua, go like that. He soaked the offering with water on top of the offering. Boom! Pray to Akua. Boom! The fire consume, man. So his mana super strong. And so when I speak to my mom about how that exchange was with it, like naming me Elijah, she was just like, son, it was always the most inspirational figure in the Bible for mom. So she put that name on you. And I feel it has a lot of kuleana.
Absolutely. And you say kuleana and a responsibility. I was just going to ask you that. Do you feel an innate responsibility carrying that name?
Because the name.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, I've always been attuned to Kiakua. I could always hear Akua's voice. Like, I've always had a very, very strong and distinct internal compass. Always had really clear understanding of ethics, morals, values, and what was Pono. Always did. Like, I never asked for it. You know, I always had it in me. And even when I did things that were not Pono, I had conviction. I knew. And so I think that plays a role in like who I am. And I do feel kuleana. And to just ensure that Akua, I walk, I live, I breathe, and I live in honor of Akua and the highest purpose for my life.
Understood. And you know, while looking at you and how Hawaiian you appear to be, or actually are, I want to know what your relationship with Christianity is.
Oh, that's good. So I grew oh, bro, we're going to get into the deeps, bro.
Let's go.
Because I love it, bro. I love it. No, so, you know, I grew up, half of my ohana is Catholic, half my ohana is Adventist. On the Papakolea side, Adventist. Ora di Freitas, Adventist. But on the Abbey side, Catholic. And I went to Christian school my whole life. And then in high school, I went to St. Louis, which is a Catholic school, you know. So I always had exposure to the church and to teachings and to mass and chapel, religious, you know, stuff like that. Do I consider myself a Christian? No. And people ask me why. I tell them, well, one, I believe in the teachings of the Messiah.
Yes, sir.
I believe in the principles of truth. And through being a student of his ministry and understanding his kuleana, his mission on the planet from like different perspectives and tiers, and not just putting, you know, him on the pedestal of being deity, just looking at the mana, I come to find that he appears much more Hawaiian as well in his essence. Love to spend time with his brothers and sisters. Loves to go out into the community to serve, spread aloha only through love. And that love brought healing and miracles and the connection to Akua, which is also a very inherent thing for Hawaiians. And he loved to drink his ava. Baga drinking wine with his, you know, the kind of, he go to the wedding one day, the mother tell him, what? Boy, when I'm a wine, boy, what happened, ma? My your uncle them don't drink all the wine. We ran out only halfway through the wedding. Well, you can help us out. Well, help you out with what? Oh, mix me some ava. Oh, baga touch the water. All of a sudden, boom, you know, ava. like that. And so I tell Kanakas all the time that there is a possibility for the practices of our kupuna and the principles and worldview of the Messiah to intertwine, because our master teachers, have it be Buddha, him and the Messiah, teachings of Confucius, the teachings of Lao Tzu, all the master teachers, they taught universal law, universal principle, applied and beyond culture, color, creed. And you cannot access that unless you can remove the limitations and labels that you put upon yourself of either being a Christian, being a Buddhist. If you can identify the truth that unifies it all, then you're really speaking about you having access to the kingdom of heaven. But if if Christians hear that, they go, "Oh, blasphemy,
Yeah.
blasphemy."
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but the seed I like to plant is, a friend once told me, the paths are many, but the truth is one. The H tree get many lanes, but all going to Kaneohe.
And one of the Buddhist temples that I do attend, their teaching is there's many rivers but one ocean.
Oh, one ocean.
Yeah. Shinyo in Hawaii. Shout out to Shinyo in Hawaii. I also attend Christian churches as well, because for me, it's the message that's the most important. I want to ask you an important question. Do you feel that Jesus was any more the Son of God than, say, you or I?
So if you look at the original text, there are many times that the Messiah said that you and I are sons and offspring of the divine, of Akua. Not many times that he correlated himself directly to being God, directly. He never ever really said, I am. Yeah, he said, I am that I am, absolutely. But when you look at the message in depth and what he was trying to portray, he wasn't building up Christians. He was building up offspring and children of the king, of Akua and of the kingdom. And so to answer that question, for the kingdom of God is neither here or there. The kingdom of God is within you. And so that explains to us that if we can look internally, then the principles, the laws, the abundance, everything accessible to ones that are connected to the divine is access to you once you begin to connect and have the revelation of truth of the kingdom that lives within your soul. Yeah, and to wash away the impurities, wash away the sin and iniquity, washing away the stuff that in the Hawaiian understanding, pulling out the small pohakus out of your umeke so that you can make room for the light.
The light.
The light.
My mother tells me that all the time, and she also uniki as a kumuhula as well.
My God.
So we've definitely been around a lot of the teachings of the Hawaiian culture. But we're talking about the Son of God. I want to talk about the Son of Oahu. What? So that handle really stands out. And I want you to explain a little bit about how you got that name.
Well, the branding thing is always a little bit of a rough thing. I had a previous Instagram before this, was called Awakened Kanaka. Had that Instagram since I was bodybuilding. So, I went through plenty versions. Elijah McShane TV. I was evolving, and I'm the kind of guy who doesn't like to stay still in who I am. But once I started to evolve into a place in my life where I knew I had to build a brand that I can stick with for the long term, and it has to be really, really clear and connected to not only who I come from, where I come from, but how I stand and how I see myself. I love my home. I love this Mokupuni. All the Kanakas that come from all their islands, they love their islands.
Yes.
Yeah. I love my island. I love Hawaii Island. I love Kauai. But that's not my moku.
Yeah.
Oahu is my moku. And when you look at the history of Oahu and the lines of our ali'i, you don't need to come from any other line. You come from this island.
Yeah.
And so it takes a moniker of pride, but it takes a moniker of kule'ana, because to choose to be called a son of Oahu means I have kule'ana to my ohana, to my island, and that I know where I stand as a steward and not a quote-unquote leader in current day. And so that just came through pule one day, Mabara. I was asking myself, maybe I should be, instead of Oahu, maybe like Hawaii, so more like Laha, like everybody can know about them. But it stuck, it clicked, and I just stayed with it. And now it's a household name when, we're talking about online Hawaii stuff, guys. So I'm super stoked, bro. Super honored.
It's so wonderful to watch, somebody from Hawaii, because Hawaii, historically has always been a little bit behind the mainland and behind the world in terms of fashion fads, technology, and everything. We're kind of cruising over here. But I see you taking it and running with it. I want to ask you, what does it mean to be Hawaiian, first and foremost? And then how do you define your identity?
My ka'i. So the meaning of Hawaiian depends on the context that you are using it. When you're talking about the Hawaiian kingdom, being a Hawaiian is being a Hawaiian national, meaning that you and or your parents are born on Hawaiian soil, right? So that can be even if you're ethnically Colombian, ethnically Portuguese, ethnically Pake. You can be ethnically many different things, but be a Hawaiian national. Just equivalent to it is to becoming an African American, or if you want to consider Hawaiian Americans, it would be a Hawaiian American, because has the ethnicity then a nationality. So being, but in the context of what is used today, of course, we're really talking about the true essence of what it means to be a person of Hawaii. Not everybody can be Kanaka, because the Kanaka is the koko, is the blood. So being Kanaka Maoli, ethnically, when you look at the Hawaiian kingdom, the ethnicity of our people is not Hawaiian. The ethnicity is Kanaka Maoli, indigenous, either pure or part. But the pure is Kanaka Maoli and the part is Hapa. But if we're talking about today's world and where we see what it is to be Hawaiian, how I would define that is a person, an individual that chooses to integrate and adopt the ways, the belief systems, and the principles and philosophy of the Hawaiian cultural infrastructure of thought. Our practices, our key principles of looking at the world, our worldview, but the worldview that maintains and sustains Hawaii, not maintains and sustains America in Hawaii. Although there needs to be that balance of living in Hawaii in the American system, we need to know how to wayfind through those two systems. But being a Hawaiian, I've met a lot of people that are not Hawaiian at all in koko. They're not Kanaka Maoli, koko ole. Aole koko. But their lifestyle, their worldview, their foods they eat, their practices, much more Hawaiian than many Kanaka Maoli that do have koko. So is that person any less Hawaiian than a Kanaka? I would say no, because their lifestyle is dictating otherwise. Can you be Kanaka? Aole. No can. But can you be Hawaii? Can.
And live Pono.
Live Pono.
And wave that flag. I feel like there might be a struggle for some Hawaiians trying to find their identity, especially with the American occupation, and how some of them can't let go of it. And like you said, balance and adjust to the factual current state of where we live. Right? But I see that you manage that within yourself, and I'm sure that you, in your journey, you've had your struggles, personal struggles, but where you are now, like you were saying in the beginning of the talk, how present you are. And also there's accepting what is, right? And then also learning how to, you say, wayfind or navigate how you can still perpetuate the Hawaiian culture in the reality of being in America.
Right. So not staying in. And when speaking about identity, my path and journey has been one that I can hope inspires other Kanakas that feel disconnected and decultured, because I definitely grew up in a decultured family. I explain it as such. I come from a big ohana of Hawaiians who did Hawaiian things but never do them the Hawaiian way. So we're always doing them with kind of a Haole mentality, but still doing the Hawaiian thing. Would you say that's one of the biggest struggles that Hawaiians currently face today?
That
is a yes, because it's so ingrained that if we don't have the education to know how to do Hawaiian things the Hawaiian way, then if we grew up in a household where our tutukanes was doing one specific thing and was doing them in a real like Haole way, but was still Hawaiian, because we take Haole stuff and we make them Hawaiian, then Pono, if not harmful, Pono, but we always got to be expanding and growing and learning. And when I'm speaking about identity, the everything comes down to the kahua. Like, what is your foundation? How do you see who you are? An amazing teacher. He was a pastor in the Bahamas for a long time. He passed away in 2014. To all the teachers and to all the teachings of Miles Monroe, played a big role in my life, Uncle Miles. And he taught a course on leadership, and his main one was teaching people about themselves through the 5 main questions, which I leave with everybody as much as I can. Answering these 5 questions can lead you to a fulfilled life rooted in who you are. Who am I has to do with identity. Where am I from? It has to do with history, heritage, genealogy. Why am I here has to do with our internal, our understanding of our purpose and our kuleana. What can I do? Our gifts, our skills and talents. Where am I going? The dreams and the visions for my life. Those things right there, if you answer that as a Kanaka, no matter who you are, it's going to point you in the right direction. But for the Kanakas that are lost and do feel lost and are looking for a pathway to ho'ikapiko, to return to their heart center on who they are as Kanaka, my encouragement is always, because I went through this and I know a lot of Kanakas go through this, relieve yourself of the need to become anything else other than Hawaii. Do not try to be XYZ. Don't try to be the actor. Don't try to be the carpenter or the social media influencer. Don't try to be it. If you're gonna put effort into trying to be anything, try to become yourself. And yourself is nothing apart from Hawaii and apart from Akua. I tell people all the time, Bara, before you believed you was one Christian, because that's a belief system, before you believe that, the cocoa flowing through your veins was already Hawaii.
Wow. But I still over here watching you like, I love what you're saying. And we talked a lot about Hawaiian and cocoa and blood. But let's talk to the people that are not from here. Let's talk to white people. Okay. I know that the word haole has its negative connotation when used in the wrong way, depending on the context.
Definitely.
But let's clarify something. Talk to me about what haole means.
If you ask my daddy, he'll give you a total different answer.
Let's hear Elijah's insight on how is it haole?
No,
haole.
So it's not haole. Yeah. So that is a false kind of precept that was placed upon haole. Haole just means foreigner, but it took the connotation and deeper meaning of then being correlated to white person, because the first foreigners that we experienced was like people that were the appropriate term in DEI is white bodied, white presenting. Yeah, because white is a color. It's not a culture or a creed. Yeah, and so, but when we look at this understanding of what is haole, what is not of Hawaii, then you can connect that and opened up a wider conversation about everything that is not of Hawaii. I'm talking about belief systems. Yeah, plants, species, humans, animals, everything that's not from Hawaii. You can say that whatever is haole is not fully integrated into the harmonious ecosystem that is Hawaii.
So based off of that, a Hawaiian can act haole.
A Hawaiian can act haole. And if I'm a Kanaka that comes from a particular district, so if I grew up Papakolea and I go into Kahalu'u, I would be a haole to Ka'alu'u. I'm Melahini over there, so I'm not from over there.
But the word's not really used in that context.
It's not used in that context. It's used, of course, because of our training. Yeah. Haole wasn't ever a bad word until you begin to look at the minutes of like different meetings in the Hawaiian kingdom, that the people that were haole judges, Haole people in power, they began to use this word in a more derogatory way.
Yeah.
That was never something. That's why we just call people Haole, us as Kanaka. It's not one big thing. But the baggage now, it carries karma. And so if you don't understand the context of it, then you can take it as a racial slur that maybe can be seen as an equivalent of the N-word for our brothers and sisters in the African American community. But our brothers and sisters in the African American community, they use the N-word amongst themselves like
Absolutely.
it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so like for us, we do the same thing. Like a good example, an uncle of mine, a godfather of mine, I love my uncle Lika. Uncle, love you, uncle. He is 6'3", most Kanaka features you can tell, but he Hawaiian Portuguese, but his skin powder white. So everybody in my family, they all call my uncle Lika Haole. Hey Haole. You know, so it's not nothing bad, you know, but the adjective that comes before the Haole is what really distinguishes your tone, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, so don't go into Costco and cut people in line and you're from the kind, you're from Pro Harbor or whatnot. Then you could become an effing Haole. When you become the effing Haole, then definitely something is not good, Hawaii.
Wow. Okay. I also want to ask you about that because we have popolo.
Yeah.
You can say popolo.
Aye.
Sometimes I tell people, I popolo, and then some people go, shh, don't say that. I'm like, oh, no, but it's not. Wasn't it a berry that was describing the skin of black people?
Yeah, just describe.
But I guess.
And it's a medicinal berry, so the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Shit. I like skin though.
I love it.
Yeah, bro. So, I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts on black people using the word? We can boop it out, but the word because I've used it a lot too, and for me, there's the argument that it takes away the power of what it initially meant. And black people use it as almost like an exclusive term in as a way to greet each other and whatnot, or describe each other. And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess everything is context, because if you and who is saying it in the space that it's being used, if it's not being used to uplift and to build culture, I feel that any word can be destructive. If it's not used in productive ways, but as long as it's not ending in an ER.
Yes. Let's have a conversation.
Brother, please.
Brother, please.
The Pootie Tang.
Oh shit, Pootie Tang,
Pootie Tang,
bro.
what a time.
You must be my age,
What
bro.
a time, 31.
31.
But Pootie Tang, I was watching Pootie Tang.
Satay.
Yeah, I love it, bro.
Shit. I love how cultured you are, and I love how you handle controversy. So I do want to ask you this. You're not afraid to address difficult topics related to Hawaiian culture and history, but what drives you to engage in these and address them head on, and often having challenging conversations publicly? Like, what drives you?
Because these conversations are the conversations that people are most afraid to have. Because they fear the upcharge of emotions that come with having those conversations. In other words, emotional intelligence does not allow us. If we have no emotional intelligence, then healing and reconciliation is a far-fetched idea. To reconcile, which is ho'oponopono, like to make pono. You can do that if you do not have the ability to emotionally communicate in an intelligent way. And speaking about these harder topics, I started talking about these harder topics for one. I've always been a facilitator of like unions. So like today, I host and officiate weddings, and then if there's any people who have relationship issues who are my couples, we ho'omali and kind of ho'oponopono these issues that needs to be addressed. And the same things happen on the individual level. Every individual has internal battles that you need emotional intelligence to overcome. Interpersonal, then in the Ohana unit, then within the community, then within the Lahui, then you're talking about outside of the world. And then you bring in different cultures. But when you're looking at the issues oftentimes have to do with the soul and the consciousness of the people that are experiencing the cause and effect of the issue. An example, the history of the overthrow. Easy to choose the approach of blame. Easy to choose, if you're having a difficult time economically in life, to blame that all on the oppressive American system. Very easy. Easy to, and this was a big thing, and I'm going to throw this out there. There's this Instagram called Haole Go Home. Put this out there. The past couple of days, been ragging on me in many different ways because I have a course that helps people not to move to Hawaii, helps Haole that are in Hawaii, military, move here to business, schooling, on how to learn the history and the perspectives of our people so that they can have the context to behave more appropriately to Hawaii, so that we can prosper. Nothing is available that is like that. There was no availability of educating people outside of the school system. And you can tell people to read books and do all these things, but if there's no pathway to help them to the light, then most likely they're not going to walk on the pathway if there's no clear space, instruction to bring people into. And so I started this course. And oftentimes the biggest people that come against this particular work because they can't see it is Kanaka. And I understand. But what's a better solution? That's my question. What's the better solution, than taking the easy route, taking the low vibrational route, no aloha route, and just saying, beat it, you fucking Haole. Beat it. You don't belong here. Yeah. Which is a lot. Then I say, well, in the Hawaiian Kingdom, our country was the most inclusive country to people. This is why we had the highest population of immigrants of different cultures living in the Hawaiian Kingdom. This is why we are the first indigenous peoples to have been organized to start a country that was recognized by the biggest European powers, the first one. All these other countries that now, they independent, the first was Hawaii, but we can choose to point the blame and do different things, or we can choose to become emotionally adept, intelligent with our own selves, engage in this conversation with knowledge, with wisdom, with the goal of unity, with the goal of harmony, and with the goal of pono. And whatever we do not leave the table until there's pono.
Wow, in doing a lot more social media content nowadays, I've realized that the misguided ones, or the ones that stand up against what you're doing, kind of help you to solidify your mission.
100%.
So it's like the natural balance.
Yeah, it's always going to happen.
Yeah.
80-20, because most everybody supports.
Yeah, mostly.
But you're always going to have the assholes. It's okay.
But we need them too, I think.
Yeah, I love you, my asshole. I'm going to wipe you good.
Well, I love your composure and your disposition when it comes to what we call nowadays as haters. It also gives you an opportunity to address them with grace. 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually do take time to thank them for their insight and allow them to see how it was handled and let them know that their aggression was met with love.
We still met with good mana.
Good mana.
And with aloha. Yeah, because about Hawaiian, I tell you right now,
Yeah.
Tell you right now, I used to speak to my mom about this when I was young, because this has been happening to me since I was young. So I grew a thick skin because I've always been a charismatic guy. So,
yes.
And very involved in different things and attract a lot of envy and jealousy from different areas. And I started to use this approach and thought process that if you have an opinion on me and you don't know me, then your opinion is miseducated, misinformed, and misguided. Yeah. So therefore, it's just an opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. But if you're not able to engage and to feel the mana that I truly have and who I am, then all you're doing, which is a tough word a lot of people don't like, prejudice. You prejudge. You prejudge before knowing. And I grew up in a household where you don't do that.
Yeah.
You meet people, you connect with them, you give them the benefit of the doubt almost. You trust them before you don't trust them. There are two kinds of people. There are people who up front, they trust easily. And there's people who you gotta earn their trust.
Yeah.
And they don't trust you at first at all.
Yeah.
Right? And so two different approaches, not good or bad, not any right or wrong, but I take the approach of, I love you, my brother. I'm gonna treat you good unless you prove me wrong.
Wow.
You know?
Son of Oahu, almost 100,000 followers.
Oh, YouTube coming soon after 100,000 hits.
Cause I'm subscribing.
And on organic, bro.
Yeah, good.
Been so stoked, bro. So thankful, bro.
So tell me this: what are some of the challenges of a Kanaka like you building a brand? Almost to 100,000 followers on Instagram, YouTube to come. What are some of the biggest challenges or hurdles that you've faced?
The hardest one is to identify the mission and maintaining your consistency on your mission. That's the hardest one. And so being a branding guy and being a design guy on the side, I have a marketing agency on the side. I really look at the spirit of brands and how come they choose particular colors and fonts and what they all communicate in and of itself, because that's how brands are. They actually communicate their personality through a simple logo, but the logo and the branding, they all mesh to the mission and the culture that is being created around the brand. And so that was one of the hardest things to do, it's like just getting clear, like, who am I? Where I come from? Why am I here? What can I do? Where am I going? Like, what is my thing? And here's what I learned. No can discover that outside of Akua. No can. You, because your own human understanding, no can access the higher states of wisdom and consciousness that the spirit of Akua already had predestined and pre-planned for you and your Kupuna. So you gotta ask your Kupuna for have a third eye perspective, bird's eye view on how they see you. And then you really begin to evolve and develop into that person that you're truly meant to be, instead of the person that you think you need to be. That's one of the biggest things in social media is a lot of imposter.
Yeah.
You meet so much influencers out there and they're not the same in who they are, because their entire their brand and platform is not built on the authenticity of their own mana. They try to have masks and costumes to be this particular person that they're not, which then leads them to building a brand that they're unfulfilled by, because they hit a revelation of truth, hopefully, and they realize that everything they've been building was based on a false persona of who they are.
Wow. Well, that kind of strikes a chord with me, because that's actually, it makes me feel better about Taisei Discovers. I've worked really hard in my life to create a great reputation for myself and to have meaningful relationships. I run a restaurant, right? 21 years. I'll let you come.
Oh, yes, please.
One of these days.
Wow,
absolutely. But what
I'm
you
doing
just...
on a hot date. I'm gonna be on a hot date.
So you attract women too then. Hey, no.
Hey, my first time I'm single in 15 years. Wow. Easy like that.
No, it's all good. You do have a personal life, and that's another part of you as well. But what I wanted to, what was I talking about? I was thinking about
Royce. I was
just talking about Taisei Discovers and what it is, and how you were talking about this persona. This is as real as it gets, bro. I use all of my experience and all of my relationships to create a platform where we can extract real information. If you're not somebody that can speak from the heart, then chances are you won't ever make this seat.
Yeah.
But, and it's not to say that you won't ever. You just need to get to the point.
You gotta get to the point
where you understand who you are, why you are here on earth, and what your mission is.
And who your father.
Exactly. Exactly. So the next thing I want to go into is something that I am enamored with. The Maori have the haka. And I recently saw you teaching some kane the ha'a, which is the Hawaiian version, most commonly made famous through the University of Hawaii's men's football team. We've all seen it, so much energy. What can you tell me about this amazing display of strength and power?
Mahalo kia kua. So the ha'a is actually a intricate part of hula. And according to the ike that I know, which is not expansive in terms of everything hula. So for all of my hula experts, I love you. I'm just here to share what I've come to learn from the kumus that I've had a chance to sit under. The ha'a is a stance of hula, often used in the hula for kane, for hula kane. Keeping in mind that hula originally was meant for kane. Yeah, and then only when this evolution, this reintroduction of Hawaiian culture in the time of King Kalakaua, you begin to see a lot of kahiko with wahine, and then now then it evolves into the early stages of waikiki, and then you begin to see now this new version of contemporary hula. That was mostly the face of contemporary hula is wahine. And the basis of that was actually prostitution of Hawaiian culture, to establish the whole Hawaii tourism industry. But when we're talking about ha'a, so the style of ha'a that we do is not a traditional style. I just want to put that out. The ha'akoa is a style of ha'a that really puts its focus and emphasis on the spirit of the warrior in the kanaka, in the kane, and doing a lot of ku style hula, but I don't label it as hula because it's not, but it's also not haka. So but the story of the ha'akoa is that it actually originated in prisons. So about almost 30 years ago, there's plenty kumu hulas that stay in the prison. So there's cultural programs in OCCC, in Halava, in Kulani, and in the state's prisons that had one in Minnesota, Oklahoma, and today a majority of our inmates that are Kanaka and from Hawaii that are not in Hawaii, they're all in the prison in Arizona. 150 Kanaka with koko are in one pod in Arizona. But the plan has always been to find a pathway for healing and rehabilitation through Hawaiian culture. When you're dealing with kanes that are ku, the criminals, when you're dealing with these bagas that is real masculine, real rough around the edges, and you bring them in one, lili ue no honani mai, you think these bagas gonna stand up and dance?
No.
Ale Hawaiian. So what started happening was my good brother, Keala Nui.
The tattoo.
Oh yeah, bro.
Keala.
Oh, bro. Keala Kahua Nui Paleka. Allah. I love you, my Kanaka. He was one of the most instrumental players in starting the ha'akoa programs in the prisons. And what had happened was this unity of culture of our kanes in the pa'ahau, to learn who they are, to control their mana through ha'akoa. Because it gives you that space to express your ku energy, but to do it in mo'olelo, to do it in movement, do it in dance, do it in oli, but doing it in the fullest expression of that ku that lives in you. Because the ku kane, right? If the ku kane is too cool, too upright, too high up in the sky, he gets chopped down, bro. Because if you go out into society and you're off balance, you're just gonna get destroyed through all the different influences. Or if you're too soft, if you're hina kane, oftentimes you kind of get stomped upon and you get overlooked and those things. And so the trick is always to be the pono kane, to be the pono, a person that has both hina and ku. But for kanes that are ku, not all kanes come out ku, but for the kanes that are ku, and we come from a warrior culture, so a lot of our kanes as Kanaka, we strong, we prideful.
Can you explain ku real quick?
So ku is a main deity, a god of Hawaii. The main gods, o kane, o kanaloa, o lono, o ku. Ku is, in the words of Kumu John Kiola Maka'inana Lake, in the words of Kumu John Lake, he says that our akua, They are the purest expression of all things space and time in Hawaii. Kane Kanaloa, from the mountain to the ocean. Ku and Lono are seasons, right? So our akua encapsulates space and time. Ku is the main akua for everything that is masculine, aspects of leadership and governance. And ku is also anything that is work and progression related, right? And so ku means to also stand upright, right? And so to be a ku kane means that you are upright, you are firm, you have a long upright spine, your mana is connected. That's that kind of cool mana. But if you go more into the depths of how to activate that, in old Hawaii, we're warrior class culture. I believe that's also part of the reason why we still got a lot of competition in combat sports in Hawaii. That's a part of our karma. That's a part of our mana. That's who we are. But we don't always have to fight. We need a space where we can bring that energy out. We can bring that cool mana out in a way that then we can harness it. And we can use that mana to do productive things in society. Because when you do not, that mana needs someplace to go.
Yeah.
And when it's not expressed in a healthy, true way that is pono, usually it implodes. It implodes upon you. And we as Kane Hawaii, we have a lot of mana. And so our current work in Hale Ha'akoa at Kina'eha, I started our Ha'akoa program at Kina'eha about 3 years ago. And Kina'eha, huge, just putting this out there for our staff, our team, and to all of my boys. We have been an organization that had been established through my good brother, Josiah Akau, who is a fire captain but an entrepreneur, good Hawaiian, Portuguese Hawaiian, kailua, solid Hawaiian. And his whole thing was that to create a space where these kids in the community have mentorship and who end up in prison. They have pathways for healing and rehabilitation through working. Because, in Hawaiian culture, we also believe, the wisdom is in the doing, Hawaiian. The wisdom is in the work. Shut your trap, work.
Yeah.
And when you work, you begin to learn. About yourself, about the craft, all that stuff. And so Kina'eha has two sides. We help for healing and rehabilitation through Hawaiian culture and workforce development. So these boys that are in our program, they all did time in prison. And they're in our intermediary program before going back into society. So we help them, our staff helps them with getting the GEDs, to get their birth certificates in order, to have access to training, to get a good job in the trades. Because our health spiritually, mentally, directly correlates to our economic stability, and that economic stability stems from education. You have no education. You don't know how to make money. You don't have skill sets. You're going to be economically impoverished in Hawaii, especially with the competition, cost of living, all that stuff. So the tool is to equip. And what we do in Kina'eha is we equip our boys. And how I do that is through ha'akoa. We teach them on how to be a kane, a kanaka, to expressing their mana. And we do that through dance.
Beautiful.
So that's the outline, Makanaka.
You draw people in.
That's the outline away. I like Hawaiian this way.
I like go jail so I can be a part of your program. Nah. I just
you come dance with us, Hawaii. You welcome.
And I'm sure you don't need Coco for be able to be part of Ha'akoa.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So this is very important. I want to talk about your experience on the set of Chief of War.
Oh yes, you seen the trailer just come out today,
bruh? I watched. I did. I never watched the whole thing yet, but I am going to. But I was really pumped to talk to you about it. What do you think that the world is going to get from this series?
Chief of War. Shout out to Pa'a and to Brother Jay, and to all the Kanakas who've played a role in Chief of War. Being on set, man, I would go home crying, bro. Like, unbelievable, bro. Like, us as people of Hawaii, we have never seen our ali'i in live action. We've never seen it. We've only seen our chiefs in paintings, bro. To be on set, big budget. I think big budget, Hawaiian. Every episode, I think it was like 20 million budget every episode. Big, Hawaiian, big, something like that. But to see the costuming, to also see the pathway that the lead screenwriter, my good brother, Pa'a Sibit, he really did his due diligence in bringing on good kumus to advise and to help and to steward the mo'olelo correctly. And this mo'olelo is on Ka'iana, who was one of the most influential chiefs in the time of Kamehameha. But he was an intermediary chief because he had his loyalty to both Kamehameha and Kahikili. Through his line and, through his pilina to Kamehameha. He's Kamehameha's best friend, and who plays Ka'iana is Jay. He's playing Ka'iana, but Piha Maka Olelo Hawaii, the entire series, is mostly in Olelo. And this is the first time we're gonna see this on screen. And so to answer your question of what is the world gonna get? The world is gonna get a combination of Last Kingdom and House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones feeling mana with everything Hawaii intertwined in it. But what the world is also gonna get is they're gonna get the first-hand look at the mo'olelo of our warrior culture. Because Pa'a told me just last week that his goal in writing this was to express the side of Hawaiian culture that is oftentimes overlooked. And that side is that we come from a line of very powerful ali'i and very powerful warriors. We always err to the side today of aloha, waikiki, all that kind of stuff that is really like peace-driven, which is pono, peace. But there's no lono without ku. And so he's telling the ku side. He's bringing to the forefront the skills of our ali'i, the thought processes of the chiefs who are conquerors, and the thought process of those that were unifying. Has Kamehameha, who is played by our good brother Kaina in
From
Kauai.
Kauai.
Yeah, in Kauai. Yeah. He's
Poya.
Ai, ba. Aloha aina poi company kako. Go look up brother Kaina. Good kanaka. If you go on YouTube and put in Aloha aina, his feature is on top there. And
I seen him with Captain Potter.
Potter. Yeah.
And this was his first time acting in
acting.
a lead role. Or acting in general.
Yeah, acting in general. But like a lot of the roles were both auditioned for and kind of handpicked because they all had acting experience.
Okay.
But they did amazing. I think, the casting, because there was controversy on the casting and how chiefs have been played by other Polynesians who are not Hawaiian, which I think there is a wide array of Kanaka Hawaii that could have played those roles. But the first season, you cannot gamble.
Yeah.
You need heavy hitters who can pull, because if the first season is not profitable, then they're not going to have a second season.
Absolutely.
So you need to bring in the heavy hitters to make sure that there's high stats.
Temuera Morrison. So Temuera Morrison, because they did the Chief of War rap party at my restaurant.
Oh yeah, they did that always.
Yeah. So that was my first, I think maybe second time I met Jason Momoa. Who was a wonderful man of character, eclectic. Yes.
Yeah. Eclectic is a good one.
You never know what he's going to be wearing.
Real man of genius.
But I do have a video that I'm going to be playing on the actual podcast of.
That's the nature of love. And it's always been this way. Here is my heart. I remember yesterday, understanding your every way. And I know never stops. It keeps going
Temuera Morrison actually playing "Here Is My Heart" in
Over
front
there?
of us.
Wow.
It was an impromptu performance. I had P.E. Miguel from Seven Sons.
said, Seven Sons, there
P.E.
you go.
Miguel, my dog. He was playing that night. I asked him to play because of who he is and the mana that he has when he plays. And he was playing, and then at some point, Temuera, he said, "Hey, I like play."
Yeah.
And he played "Here Is My Heart." So I'm gonna play that for you folks to enjoy.
Oh, amazing!
Right after this,
amazing, bruh. And brother, the character that he played, bruh. Seeing it in person, he's playing the High Chief of Maui, bruh. He's playing the great, infamous King of Maui, bruh. The history of Mo'olelo of Kahikili Ahumanu is so unbelievable that I believe there's no better actor that could really do it justice, and I think we're gonna see that.
You know, I brought a couple of things today. One for you and one for Keoni, who's gonna be on next.
Mate,
Okay.
I just seen a Brook Parker painting.
You seen him?
I just seen you pulling out. I go, oh, I know Uncle Brook so well, so I can feel the mana.
You see how things happen. So he gave me a bunch of prints, and
so
I was
blessed.
figuring out how to, like, where I was gonna put them. At one point, I had them all laid out on the floor, and I was looking where I gonna put everyone. It's the middle of the night. Had so much mana in the room. I had to put them away.
Put them away,
Because I was like, bro, I don't know if I cannot sleep.
You
with
your
all
wall
this
in your sleep.
energy.
Yeah.
So, earlier we was talking about King Kamehameha,
Yola.
which this is,
Whoo, Kamehameha.
and I'm not knowledgeable enough to explain what's going on here, but this is a very powerful painting depicting King Kamehameha and like his cabinet.
Yeah.
I guess you can say at
His
this
ahula.
time. Okay, awesome. So actually, I am gifting you one of these. But
Oh,
I'm gonna allow you to pick.
I'll go
which
pick
one do you
this
want?
one.
Okay, but we were just talking about
Kahikili
Maui.
Ahumanu.
Yeah.
Might have to take both.
Sorry, Keon, you can draw your own.
Wow, kalani kupule.
Yeah.
Kahikili. Look at him, man, bro.
How does this make you feel when you're looking at this?
So good, bro. So good, bro. Like epic. This this one of Kamehameha. So these are his two twin uncles. You know the ones that stay on the coat of arms.
This here. Oh yeah, the coat of arms.
The coat of arms.
Yeah.
This is his two uncles, Kamehameha's two ali'i kapu uncles, his twin uncles, who were very influential and who were of the highest rank, and they backed Kamehameha. They backed when they didn't have to. Yeah, keeping in mind, that he's a mid-tier ali'i. Yeah, Kamehameha is a wohi chief. That's like mid-tier. These two kanaka were ni'aupio. They were ali'i kapu, very high-ranking. But it speaks a lot about his two uncles choosing to back him and why. The prophecies around Kamehameha. And then his mentor right here, ke kuahopi'o, his teacher, his best friend, and his olohe, his teacher of lua, is ke kuahopi'o. And ke Aomoku, who in Chief of War is played by the beautiful black Hawaiian brother Moses Goods. He plays
Moses
Ke
Goods, I know
Aomoku.
Moses.
He plays Ke Aomoku, bro.
Kind of look like
Look like Ke Aomoku Hawaii. And bro, freaking Mo is just next level, kanaka, and so yeah, bro. Every time I see these, my immediate thought all the time when I speak to Uncle Brook, and Uncle Brook, we're pretty much extended ohana. Because he grew up right across the street in Crown Terrace to all of my aunties and uncles and to my mom and my papa and my grandma. So they grew up across the street in Kaneohe. So they all know the Parkers and the Parkers all know the Abbeys. And so every time I talk to Uncle Brook, we're like, brah, Uncle Brook is so by such one good Hawaii. And you guys had a good episode, bro.
We did,
You guys had a
bro.
good
He
episode.
taught me so much. We actually got number 2 in the works.
Wow, nice.
Very few make number 2.
Yeah.
Brooke will definitely make number 2.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to switch gears real quick.
Yes, let's do it.
I saw you skydiving the other day, enjoying modern comforts or
Skydive Hawaii, shout out.
what was going on?
We gotta take you guys skydive. This bar, he would hook you guys up,
I I don't know. Bro.
Skydive Hawaii.
I don't know,
Taisei
cuz.
discovers the sky.
I love discovering the ground, to be honest. Maybe the ocean, but the
Yeah,
sky
yeah,
is not.
oh,
Actually,
God.
I'm thinking about it. One of my friends, he's a flight instructor for Cessnas.
Oh, nice.
And I never really liked being in a Cessna. I think I went in once when I went to Molokai. Or Molokai.
Mm. Yeah.
Right?
Boat?
Boat. I hear people say boat.
Yeah.
But I did go in one, and fucking turbulence was nuts. And I just felt like, bro, these little prop jets are nuts. But I feel like at some point I am gonna build the courage to try
To go,
skydiving.
try-
Tell me what it did for you, though.
Well, so I want to speak to brother TK, and to the staff. But big shout out to Skydive Hawaii to do a piece of content and to have an exchange with them.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of it's a little bit pricey for the Karakas to the kind. And he told me, "Bah, you gotta come back and just jump in your malo, no shirt, nothing." I told him,
I thought that's what you was going to do.
I was going to do that, but he never informed his team. I go, brother, I want to ask you, brothers, what? I came up right to the stuff, no shirt, only malo, pareo, no shoes, nothing. They was like, bro, you gotta go put on a shirt, bro. I go, come on. I told the TK, he said I can jump in my malo, not even the key here, I can just jump in malo. He go, bro, go put on a shirt. I go, I'm gonna tell him, don't worry. So once he see my video, he go, bro, come back, just jump in your malo. I'll tell my team. I was like, good, bro.
When he saw the views, huh?
Oh,
He
yeah,
must have
yeah.
been
Right
tripping.
on, my father. No, but bro, it's like for me, I had stated in that video that in current day, because a lot of people ask me, if I was scared, and anxiousness, different stuff, and I don't really have that in my life anymore. I don't really experience too much. I experienced a lot of anxiety as a kid. I had a speech impediment long time, so I always was scared, like talking socially, and different stuff. And I worked through a lot of my anxiety and understood how to regulate my own nervous system and staying pono. The ava helps, but never really was not, just one not a thing for check off of my life's journey.
I think that's a testament to how present you are. I was gonna ask you. When I was driving here, I was like, you seem like somebody that isn't afraid of much. Is there anything that scares you?
The one thing that has since I was a kid, my biggest fear was being forgotten. That was always my biggest fear, like being forgotten in a sense where I walk on the planet and did nothing.
So that's probably
That's one
partially
of
why
my-
you're so vocal.
And that's part of the reason why I'm so driven too. Because like that came to me when I was like 6 or 7, bro. Because when I was like 6 or 7 is when I first seen the speech from MLK. When I was young, and I'm seeing this and I'm like, bro, like what is this? Dog, like what is this? And so like fears, not many, bro. I go swim with the sharks, skydive, do different stuff. I'm not one risk taker in terms of one dumb risk taker though. I'm not one guy for do gainers, that's what my brother. He not dumb, but my brother, man. That bugger, he for H3 one wheel 120 miles per hour kind action, like he used to do that and like he don't want to go up 80 for big kind of cliff in Hawaii Island or something. He go jump off doing double gainer kind,
Wow.
I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I good. I go suicide.
Yeah.
I go suicide, simple.
Okay, I got one last question. I'm gonna give it to Kenji because he might want to ask you a question as well.
Yes.
So where would the Son of Oahu like to see Hawaii in 10 years?
In 10 years, I'm more so thinking 50. But in 10, I would say the first, I would like to see the Hawaiian Homestead Association to get to increase their resources and funding, to rezone ag lands, and to put Hawaiians on aina. That's what I would like to see. Is that going to happen? Not too sure. In its current leadership, there's a lot of positive that is happening. About 800 leases were just handed out like 2 months ago. And that's a beautiful step in the right direction. But the reason that I'm saying that is because once our ohanas that are living in Hawaii have aina, have hale, and have the economic means to stay in Hawaii, then that also creates that space to bring their ohana that had to leave back. So the hope and the prayer of mine in 10 years is to see the percentage of Kanakas that are home to increase, not decrease. Because we have decreased. There's a higher percentage of Kanaka living outside of Hawaii now. Yeah, about 56% live outside of Hawaii. So
Unwillingly. Now, some of them enjoying their new life, but there's a
Yeah.
lot that are unwilling.
yeah, I'm hesitant at saying unwilling.
Oh.
And the reason why I'm hesitant at saying that is because everybody has personal responsibility
Yeah.
and personal choice. And because in my ohana, we could have easily chose to move to Las Vegas to have a better life, quote unquote, outside of Hawaii. Is that a better life? That's up to the person. If you put a value on material resources, then maybe that's a good move. But watch out, because maybe the material resources pull you in so much, and the luxuries of living outside of Hawaii is so much better that you never move back home, and then you forget who you are in one generation. Yeah. So it's like I'm hesitant to say unwillingly because everybody has choice, and if you, again, education, skill set, developing yourself. Nobody has excuses. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has YouTube. Everybody has access to books. Everybody got the ability to fucking learn. Okay? If you are not making enough money to live in Hawaii, find a way. That's that easy, ka. Or easy for you for say that. I go, no, brother. You either got guts or you don't. True, cause and we like say in personal development spaces that a total human needs all four. They need balls, they need guts, they need heart, they need brains. They need all of it. A lot of our Kanakas, we only get balls, and hot, good hot, but no more the brains, and oftentimes no more the guts for learn and for grow and for build. Not all of us are people that are brilliant people. But what I'm saying is that if your excuse of moving out of Hawaii is economic reasons, you know how much ways there are to make money, especially today. Like, there's no excuse you cannot make money. No excuse. The only excuse is you're fucking lazy and you're smoking too much pakololo. Straight up. And I'm a herbalist. I am herb friendly. Yeah. But not do them to debilitate you.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of our people. They get into bad habits very young, alcoholism, drugs, and that escalates, and then you lose your compass. And then you now just floating and gotta work at Five Guys. And you like work at Five Guys when you're 50 years old, my brother.
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm talking about? Wow. So anyway, yeah.
Fuck. I'm a little drained right now with the overload of information and energy that I've received in a good way.
In a good way, of course.
Thank you so much. Kenji.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so you're saying like what you do, you aim to empower, equip these Kanakas coming out of prison, but overall educate, equip, employ, possibly empower, right?
Empower.
I feel like plenty Hawaiians like yourself with that same intention, and maybe even the same, like the four things you just listed, they got all four of those. But it often feels like that power is separated and is not focused together. Right?
Yeah.
Which is weird because we're an island in the middle of the largest ocean. We are so well known around the world. Hawaii is known around the world. Aloha is known around the world. These values that you so strongly hold on to, it feels like it takes a while, or there's infighting. You know what I mean? Like with all of this power, this mana, all these people who want to do the same thing, it doesn't feel like, well, why didn't it happen? For example, Chief of War. How come it took so long for us to get this this voice when all these people this whole time
They were pushing for it.
been pushing for it?
Yeah.
Like why? Well, what's going on with that?
So the infighting, I also believe it's a part of our karma. We've been infighting. 850 years of the chief's era, yeah. So in the era of the ali'i, that was a part of our culture. Was competition against the district, against the brother down the road. Cause we always about excellence, yeah. So we like be the best. Yeah, because the best get all the chicks, the best get all the food, the best get all the good waves, the best get all the punani. No. The best get everything out of Chiefs. They always like be the best. Yeah. But if you act up, you know, war, Hawaiian, war. And so I feel that's a part of our karma to a certain extent. We have a difficult time because we're very prideful people. And so we take pride in our own duties and works. But what we got to work to and towards is having pride in everything that is Hawaii, no matter if it's yours. Which I feel is a part of our evolution. I think we're kind of getting there. I think our generation is more adept to and inspired to do that kind of work because we could see how our parents' generation, Kupuna's generation, they were even worse in fighting, like even more no can agree, like what is going on, too much emotional. But that's why I also admire a figure like Kamehameha. Because the figure like Kamehameha, he's as we say in our branding space, he's the key person of influence. He's the beacon, he's the lighthouse, he's the unifying factor. He's the guy that got the vision. He's the one that holds accountability. He's this icon that when you look at Kamehameha, you're like, would you rather be in that guy's military or would you want to be in Kamehameha's military? If I was living back in the day, Makalaka, I would be in Kamehameha's military. You know, because just to think about that. So when we look at what is Kanaka, a thing that I also learned in my life is that a lot, like I have a great family, but oftentimes but this is a common American thing. We put the interest and value of the human oftentimes based on their output. So based on how much they make, how much they accomplish, status. Really human thing, yeah. Really human thing. And so it seems like, and this is what I changed in my life just over the past 3 years, is that before, since I got out of high school and all of my work that I've been doing up until my later 20s, I was trying to help people. I'm trying to build people. And then I started studying. And it's like, how come people don't like build? I was like, Bara, you got to build yourself. You build the hale. You build everything. When you build it, they come. So it's like being able to build something so magnificent, so pono, so empowering, so much mana that they cannot refute it. No can.
Is that part of your bodybuilding mentality too?
That's definitely, bro. That has played a big role. But that's also in like our project with Prince Kuhio Studios, where we're like in the process. I've been honored to be a part of the core team of launching Prince Kuhio Studios, and this is going to be the biggest Pacifica Studios in all of Hawaii. Wow. And the aim is to change the film industry forever, making our films all in-house. We can't do that right now. Film industry is paused because no infrastructure, no incentives. The laws work against us. So what we're trying to do is bringing the resources together, bringing the most influential people in Polynesia who are in entertainment to bring us together to create a studios that can produce films for Hawaii by Hawaii, because we can build an entire industry based on our mo'olelo, just like Aotearoa. Their industry is established. So Chiefs of War was filmed in Aotearoa. Yeah. 6 of the episodes, right? So it's like, wow, you know, and so it's just applying what is needed to be done, doing the damn thing. No talk, no even worry about if Baga like partner with you. If they like partner with you, they won't come find you. You know, so it's like, I stay at a point in my life, my bada, where it's like, all my brothers and sisters out there, you get koleana, focus on your koleana, do what you gotta do. It's not gonna be easy. There's gonna be kanakas who are gonna support you, but do the fucking thing. Just do them, Hawaiian. Do them even if nobody believe in them. If Akua believe in them with you, Akua gave you the vision, go and do them, my brother. No blame nobody, take action. But no expect anybody to support you. Don't expect it. Hopefully it happens.
Damn, Son of Oahu. Where can they find you, my brother?
Oh, just IG, TikTok, Son of Oahu, Awakened Aloha. If you put that into Google, Awakened Aloha, we got all of our stuff happening there. We're kicking off our tours next year, our full immersive tours in Hawaii, groups of 15. So we're kicking that off. It's high ticket tours because we're not looking to feed into the tourism beast. we want to do tourism in a healthy way, and we want to do tourism in a way that is lucrative. Do tourism in a way that pays our Kanakas to do stuff. Not $200 for 2 hours, but $2,000 for 2 hours. And all kind of stuff like that. But no can do that, no more the resources. So we're building that out right now. All that information is on awakenaloha.org. And all of our philosophy and what we do and how we serve the world is on there as well.
Damn. Well, I do want to say that it was an absolute pleasure. I learned a lot sitting with you and talking stories. I do feel like there's probably going to need to be a part 2 for this.
Oh, probably. Part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5.
Absolutely. And I'm, now we're connected for life, my friend. Thank you so much for blessing Taisei Discovers. And I can't wait to watch this footage.
Hey, bro, I'm here to support, bro. I appreciate all the beautiful work and the good mana. And to everybody out there who tunes in to all of these podcasts, you know, one of the biggest things we always got to learn is we got to support our own. We got to love our own. We got to uplift our own. So if you guys are inspired to sponsor and to purchase shirts and, you know, to work and to do that stuff to help to uplift this podcast, please do so, because that's what we do, baby. Ho'oulu ke kanaka, ho'oulu kalahui. When the kanaka prospers, our people, our nation prospers. Yeah. So ho'oulu ke kanaka, ho'oulu kalahui. We give life to our aina to prospering our own people, but you not can do that unless you prosper yourself. Stay pono.
Mahalo nui.
Mahalo nui, but love you, cousin.
Fuck, love you too, cuz.
Mahalo kia kua. Yes, sir. Oh,
I got a grom, cuz. I got a grom, cuz.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you, but thank you,
Oh,
bro.
that was on me.